Today we're going to do a fun measurement activity, and this is going to combine some of the things you've done already with standard and non-standard measurement. Okay, and one thing that I want you to know is you're going to be working in partnership, and we've been talking a lot about how to be a good partner. So my goal for us today is that each partner gets their voice really heard, okay, and each partner gets to share their ideas. So I wanted to show you a way that that could look, and Grace, I'm wondering if you would be my partner for this to practice.
Okay.
Okay? So I want you to watch how I speak to Grace and tell me what you notice when I'm getting ready to work in partnership with her. Okay. Grace, I'm glad you're my partner, and I see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 things that we're going to be measuring today. So I'd like this to be fair for us. Maybe I could pick 2 what we're going to measure, and you could pick 2 for what we're going to measure?
That sounds pretty good, Miss Kinnaird.
Okay. So what did you notice about how I spoke to Grace or what I said to Grace? Max, what did you notice?
You were talking kindly.
Okay. Claude, what did you notice?
You let it be fair to her.
Can you explain why you think it was fair?
So, like, if you did, like, all of this and maybe she did both of these, it might not be fair to you. And if you did both of this and she did that, it wouldn't be fair to her. So it would be good for, like, you do all of this and she does all that.
Nice. Nice noticing. Henry, what'd you notice?
That I noticed that you said you made a continent so it would be equal.
Okay. Molly, what'd you notice?
That you had a nice tone of voice.
So, thanks. I'm wondering if anybody would like to practice. I'll be your pretend partner. And so pretend now that you're the one in partnership with me getting ready to do this activity. Would anyone like to try to practice it? Max, you want to practice? Will you 2 switch spots for a moment and then you can go back? I need Max here so he can be practicing. So let's listen to Max practice our goal of being fair and both of our voices getting heard and sharing ideas. So right now we're just listening, Tyler, so it's okay if you can't see this paper. Just listen to Tyler, or listen to Max. Okay. Your turn.
Do you want to do 2 and 2?
What do you mean 2 and 2? Can you explain that?
Do you want to do like 2 of these and I do?
Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Who can tell me what you noticed from the way Max decided to talk with me as his partner? What'd you notice, Nate?
He asked nicely, and he wondered if you would want to, or if you wanted to change.
Mm-hmm. Grace, what did you notice?
I noticed that he was like, that he said 2 and 2, and you were like, what's that? Can you explain it? And he explained it in a simple way, like, so I could do this, and you could do this part. And we would each have 6 turns.
Do you think the way he showed me helped me understand better?
Yeah.
By kind of pointing it out to me? Cool. Thanks, Max. Do you guys want to move back to your own spots? Okay. So you are all going to get a chance to practice this in your own partnerships very soon, right? But I want you to remember that as a goal, as well as our goals that we're going to have as being great measurers and good mathematicians. So Max, you want to scoot in so now that we have more space? All right. So let's talk about our activity. And I want to share with you the ways in which you're going to get to make some choice with your partner, and also some of the parts of it that are not going to be as much your choice, but are still going to be open for exploration. So I have some items back here that you might use for measurement. Who can remind me of the difference between standard measurement and non-standard measurement? Claude?
Well, like, standard measurement normally would do, like, it would be like 1 foot and stuff like that.
So,
but non-standard would be like measuring in paper clips and graph sticks and maybe chairs.
oh. Right. Does anyone want to add anything on about what standard measurement might look like versus non-standard? Max?
Standard is when it's like, if I was going to measure paper and it's like absolutely at 6, that's standard. Not unstandard is when I'm measuring a plan of something and it's not quite. It's not like absolutely 6.
Yeah, it's about.
About.
So, which one might be more precise? Precise meaning exact. What do you think? What do you think, Emery?
Standard.
Yeah. What tool would we be using if we're doing standard measurement? We've only really learned of one tool. That's the one we're going to use today. Catherine Ryan?
A ruler.
Yeah, and what are we measuring in? We use the ruler. We measure in what? Henry?
Paper clips?
On a ruler, what are we measuring?
Inches.
Okay.
Inches and feet.
Yeah, and we've talked a little bit about that, but not a lot.
Inches and feet.
So this is going to be your paper, and I want you to take a look at this as the paper that each person's going to have. Molly, eyes. Each person is going to get one paper, even if you're in partnership, okay? And it says object to be measured, draw or write. Here, I'll sit up so you can see it better. Draw or write. So you get to choose if you want to write down the name of what you're measuring, or, there we go, or you can draw it. So whatever's easier for you. The next column says unit, inches or non-standard. So if you decide on your first object with your partner, and you decide for this one you want to measure in non-standard, you're going to write whatever you choose to measure it in. I have a few options over here. I have our craft sticks, paper clips, and Unifix cubes as options for non-standard. But I'm okay if you have a different idea for a non-standard measurement that we have in this classroom already. What do you think, though, is something important, even if it's non-standard, that we need to make sure we can use if it's a non-standard form of measurement? What do you think is something we still want to kind of remember if we're going to choose something that's not one of those three? Catherine and Molly, do you have an idea?
Well, like if you were if you were measuring with Legos, all your Legos would need to be the same size.
Thank you. That's a great thing for us to remember. So whatever you do choose, even if it's non-standard, they have to be the same size. So could you pick out Legos that are all the same size?
Yeah.
You could do that. You could do that. And if you're measuring in inches, so if you instead decide, oh, for this thing I'm going to measure in inches, then that's just standard. Who can give me a tip to remember something on the ruler so that I can be as exact as possible? Can anyone remember any tips for using the ruler? Henry?
The little ones are not the inches.
Okay, so you're thinking about the difference between this side and this side. So you look for the bigger ones, right? Okay, what else? What's another tip, Claude?
To start at the 0, which you wouldn't like do this, like start right here, because the 0 is not right
Nice.
there, or start here at the 1, or the 0 is all the way over there.
Yeah, good remembering. One more, Nate.
Or just do the one that's farther apart.
Yeah, that's another good way to think about it when you're getting ready to use the ruler and you're trying to remember, is it inches or centimeters? Which one am I looking for? Okay, so you and your partner are going to make a plan, and you're going to check in with me with your plan before you touch any of the objects that you're going to measure with. So here's how it'll look. You will fill out the 4 things that you two decide that you want to measure. You will also fill out how you want to measure them. So maybe I'm going to measure the kaleidoscope. I'm going to measure it in paper clips. I'm going to measure the hand wipes, and I'm going to measure that with inches. So you're going to have all of these filled out, but you won't have your final measurements yet. So you're going to get a check-in with me of your plan. And when your plan looks good to go, then you and your partner will start the measurement. That's when you'll collect all your materials. Okay? Anyone have any questions about that part, Max?
Do you mean like if you like could you do it like with books only if the books are the same size?
What do you guys think? Would that be okay?
Yeah.
So if you can find enough books that are the exact same size, that could be your non-standard unit. Okay? So once you have your plan and you have your 4 items and how you want to measure them, then check in with me. We'll look it over, you'll get what you need, and you and your partner will get to begin the actual measuring. After that, we will go ahead and come back to the circle and kind of reflect on how things looked. So I want to remind you that kind of 2 goals I have for you. One is that when working in partnership, you really think about how are both of our voices and ideas being shared. I like to call that collaboration. How are you collaborating with your partner? And then my second goal is to make sure that you get to explore different types of measurement. Okay, so thinking about, can I mix it up so that I'm exploring different ways of measuring? Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, so I have partners. We have Tyler and Grace, Henry and Catherine, Henry and Catherine Amalia, Nate and McLean, a trio, Claude, Catherine Berry,
Who's a trio?
and Emery, and Max and Molly. Okay? And I have your sheets, so you guys can go off wherever you want. We have a plan.
A group of 3 people
Okay.
This is going to be tricky for the Somali side, right? So, how many plans? Oh, I think I know one person chooses.
Yeah, you each get one. Hey, Molly, put that in your pocket. You guys want to settle in here? Okay. So what do you think you need right now? Do you need any materials? That's Max's seat. You might. What do you think you need, Molly, right now?
No, I know what else I and a ruler.
We don't need the ruler yet. Max, can you remind Molly? What are we going to do first?
Yeah, first make a plan and then tell me to start it.
So Molly, settle in with Max, and you guys can start thinking about what you want to measure. So friends, let's get some ideas.
I also have a better idea. I have a better idea. So we could go like someone does that one, someone does that one, someone does that one. No, but that's the object. That's like your unit, but that's the measurement. Yeah. But you don't get to choose how.
So we don't need materials yet. We're going to first.
We don't get to choose how it's measured.
Here, come sit with me.
And I guess I'm trying to explain it to them, but they can't really feel like
Okay.
Can you choose like one person chooses these whole column, one person chooses this whole column, and one person chooses this whole column?
What do you guys think?
I think that's really a good idea.
But look, I don't think so. But how would you choose the measurement, guys?
Yeah.
That's the what it's. You can't choose the measurement except for who constructed it.
So let me show you too how this works. The thing that is measured, what you want to measure, and the measurement all kind of go together, right? That's all
You're
one.
thinking one person can decide all that, one person can decide all that, one person can decide all that, we can agree on these 3.
Okay, and this is what we're really choosing. What do you want to measure? That's kind of the idea, and how you want to measure. So maybe that's what one person chooses. Now the measurement's not a choice. The measurement is an actual, yeah. See if you can figure out though. You might be able to do it. So why don't you first settle in, get your names on the paper, have a seat.
got my name.
Think about, we have 4 things to measure in the room. Okay, that's a good idea where you can split it up. And maybe the 4th one, Catherine, you guys all agree on. Right?
How do you
That could work. I'll come check back in on you.
Who's gonna go measure?
No. We have to go get out there.
No, we don't.
We have to check in with
So what are you guys deciding you're going to measure?
books. So what do you mean? And I found 3
You're going to measure with books, right? What are you measuring with the books? It says you're going to use books to measure. So what are you going to measure?
Probably math journal. Yeah.
Or draw. I'll just draw a picture.
So you're trying to find books that are the same size to make sure you can do it?
I'm trying to find a math journal.
How many do you think you'll need to measure the math journal?
Probably just 1 or 2. Yeah, 2.
Okay.
I got 2.
right, keep going with your plan. Let's
I asked my robot for robot weapons.
What's that?
I asked my robot for extra for clock weapons. Clock lighting.
Let's see here. Catherine, what is something you would like to measure?
I would like to measure the recycling bin.
Cool. So let's do that for both of you. You'll need to go ahead and write for the first one, recycling bin.
Let's do it with draw.
Or draw.
Let's do it with this one.
And
I could like
since this is one that Catherine's choosing, what unit do you want to measure it in? How do you want to measure it?
First of all, I'm not finished drawing it, and first of all, I'm not finished drawing it. And second, I'd like to measure it in units.
Okay. So you're going to record your plan. You're going to record what you plan to measure it in. Okay? And then maybe Henry can pick the next one. Alright, so tell me, your first thing you're going to measure is what?
The Play-Doh box, and we got to use it.
Awesome. Who chose that? Okay, so the whole plant is going to get filled in. So all four are going to get filled in. Then you'll start to measure. So you're going to fill out your whole plan.
Bit thing next.
Okay. You want to measure the whole tower?
Oh, actually, no. I need to, maybe the flag. And I know what I want to measure it with. How do we
This flag. I think you're looking at it.
Oh, I thought he meant that one. No, break it in.
We're not going to start measuring it until everything is recorded. So let's put some tools back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's okay.
What's the flag? What do you mean?
So everything,
Have a seat.
your whole plan, meaning all four things that you want to measure, need to get recorded. So what was the first thing you wanted to measure?
What do you want to do? I think we should do Legos. That sounds like a good.
You want to measure the Lego bin or what?
John measure the turtle shell? Oh, sure. That sounds good.
Okay. So that's what we're going to put right here. You can draw or write turtle shell.
I want to write.
Okay?
I'm going to draw. In what?
Cool. So that's the first object that you're going to measure. The second column then is the unit. How are you going to measure it?
With the Unifix cube?
What do you think, Molly? You said with Unifix cubes?
Then how are we going to measure
You guys are really getting along and listening to each other's ideas. So that's the second column. So Unifix cubes. So write that down so you remember that's your plan. Unifix. I think it might be easier.
I'm just going to draw.
It's right here.
I'm just going to draw. Okay. We stopped again for a second, but now we got it there.
Okay. Oh, I like that. So you said that you're going to do something with erasers. That's a new one. I haven't seen that. What are you measuring with erasers? Okay, so Tyler, come sit here. Let's record our plan. So in the first column, we're going to write what? Yeah, or draw, whatever you want. So let's fill that in. Okay.
So Tyler, you drew one of
Is it math book?
because you want to do math.
Yeah. You can write or draw. So you're making your plan. Cool. You're drawing the details of the math book on. Alright. And then Tyler has the unit. What did you write?
Eraser.
So that's what you're measuring it in. Okay. So now you're going to come up with your next plan. So you actually do not need your tools yet. Let's put these off to the side.
Okay.
You're going to now figure out your next three things together and then do your measurement. I'll just leave it here for when you have all four ready.
Do I spy books? Okay, let's measure this. So let's put I spy books.
What's the third thing to measure?
I spy. Just put I spy.
Oh, I noticed you guys are changing up how you're measuring. That's cool. So you're going to get a bunch of different ideas of how to
Let's go, X. No, but what about, oh yeah. The measurement, you can't do
Put your paper clip here. Oh, you have a plan. Okay, let's hear the plan.
So we're going to measure that box
with the Play-Doh in it.
In.
In inches.
Okay. Who wants to explain another one?
Inches. Like your ruler right there. Like we're gonna measure that.
Awesome. Emery, what else?
We're gonna do the puppet theater with paper clips.
Okay.
And we can and we're gonna do the pole with Legos. And we can do any Lego brick.
So did you guys share your ideas and kind of mix up whose ideas were which? Great. So it looks like then you're ready to start doing materials. Let's still go one at a time though. So the first one's Play-Doh in inches. What materials do we need to get ready to do that?
We're always gonna do it, right?
All right, you have a plan. Will you guys share with me your plan?
We're gonna use the bear cubes.
Okay.
And we're going to
Let's write that's the end of it.
Lula.
Yeah, what are you measuring?
No, they don't. No way about
With a ruler?
They don't.
Okay.
What's that? Way about See, so let's just try.
Miss Cardino.
One second, Emery.
That with sticks, and then we're gonna measure the wasp nest with clips.
Oh, that sounds great. And were you guys able to each add your ideas on?
Yeah, so he did these two, and he got to pick up two, and then I did these two.
Great. So if you start, one second, you're ready to start at the top, and you'll need what materials to get ready for that?
Cube.
All right, why don't you
Need a lot of cubes.
All right.
Now, what are we going to measure it in? Popsicle sticks.
Closest inch.
It is about 10.
So,
No,
let's see. What do you think? Oh, I noticed you're remembering. Let's get the 0 right there. Yeah. So, I see that there's the 10 there, and there's the 11. Is it? Which one is it closer to?
11. It's about 11.
So we're in disagreement. Let's look.
It's 11.
Let's make sure that Catherine can really see it. Can you come over here, Catherine? Look on this end. Is it closer to the 11 or closer to the 10? It's almost about the same. That line would be the middle so that I see how it's right there.
Oh, it's 11.
It's a little bit closer to 11 than 10, okay? This is part of working on learning how to work with people.
30! Oh, that's 30! That flag is 30 Legos.
Think about how do you both really get to have your ideas shared.
That flag was 30 Legos.
So I noticed you use all the same size, so that made it standard even though it's non-standard. Awesome.
Well, we could
You guys are
still to
ready
make
to
them
go.
the same size, though.
Stormtrooper bear. Hey, oh yeah, that could have worked because it was the height. And what are you measuring in?
What's Stormtrooper bear?
The one on the.
Okay,
Well, Max is using it right now, but that's okay. So I think you guys are ready to get started. 'Cause I want to make sure you're ready for sharing with everybody. So what is this top one again?
we need the paper clips.
Okay, and you're measuring it in. I noticed you guys did some changing. What are you deciding you're doing to mix it up a little bit?
We did. We measured the pine cone with Play-Doh, and it was the answer 32. We measured the teddy bear, which was 32.
And what did you measure?
Come on.
Awesome. So that's great that you were able to change up this column to try some different ways of measuring. And also, I noticed you guys are really working together.
Wait a minute, how much was the Unifix cube? 32. Oh, yeah.
No.
Say that, it really made me smile because I thought he was being playful with you. Is that possible? Yeah. Well, his words when I heard him say, "Ha, good one, Catherine Amalia," made me think maybe you had just said something that made him feel good and thought it was funny. So maybe it was just a different way of interpreting it, but sounds good to me.
Where did these Unifix
Okay, so how'd you do? You found it? Good. Next one, you're measuring what There's some great work going on. I'm seeing a lot of different things being measured and a lot of different units. And we're gonna make a goal. I'm looking at the clock. I'll even set our timer. I'm gonna set the timer for 5 minutes. Hey Max, eyes. And my hope is that in 5 minutes we'll check in and see if we're about ready to come back together and reflect a little bit on this activity. Okay, so keep on working.
21. Alright, there we go. 21. Welcome. 21. This is how you write 21. No, that's 12.
Okay, what do you measure?
I gotta write it back. 15. Okay. It's a bill.
Will you show me how to measure AA?
Yeah, that's yeah.
Next page.
All right. Great. Molly, you can go on to this. And if you guys have picked up all your materials that you've used, then you can go ahead and do a quiet reading book or just measure for fun if you want. Catherine, Amalia,
We done.
Henry's doing this on the carpet because I want to make sure you guys get at least a couple things measured by the time the
I've
timer
got
goes
the
out.
stormtrooper bear down. 8.
Will you check in with her and show her?
8.
Awesome. What did you measure that was about 51?
51.
Right here.
Oh. No, that's. I got.
Oh, okay, so about 15, is that what you mean? And what did you
Oh, and
measure?
there's 30.
Yeah.
I measured the bottom of the typewriter in paper clips, so it's about 31.
That's 31. So that one, let me just write here. That one would be like that. Did you mean 15?
15.
Let me write it up here in the corner. And you meant 30. Okay, so I see almost everybody's completed their work. Here's what I'd like you to do. Friends who are all done, meet me on the carpet with your papers. Sit by your partner.
Everybody
Okay.
have enough room. Come on.
All right. So is everybody by their partner?
No.
Well, let's sit by our partners.
Max and Molly, please scoot over and then everyone. Max and Molly, now you can scoot back, and then everyone will be fine.
Settle in. Max. Thank you.
Molly, you have
All right. Okay. So we are going to do a little reflection. And our first reflection, we're going to just go around the circle. And each person, so not each partnership, but each person is going to share which measurement they found most interesting, what they measured it in, and what their answer was. So take a moment and look at your paper. And Max, it's going to be each person, so you can choose yours, and your partner gets to choose yours. So think about which one did you really like measuring, and each person's going to get to share which one they liked. It's okay if it ends up being the same, because maybe you and your partner found the same thing. Does that make sense? So, Catherine, I'll start with you. What did you measure? And let's take a moment and take our papers, put them on the carpet. One second, I want to make sure everyone's being really good listeners. So show Catherine you're listening to what she measured and what she discovered. Your favorite one?
One was when we measured the little flag in Legos, and it was about 30 inches.
Cool. Was it 30 inches? What did you measure it in?
We measured it in Legos.
So it was 30 what?
Legos.
30, what did you measure it in?
Legos.
So it was 30 Legos. And why was that your favorite?
I don't know, because I also really like playing it, and that we had to build them up to make it
Cool.
come up and up and up to make it as tall as the flag.
Claude, how about you?
Well, mine's the same, but I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because you kind of let us play while we were measuring.
Great. So the Legos measuring the flag was your favorite?
Kind of playing.
Cool.
My favorite was measuring with the teddy bear in the library with cubes, and it was 32 cubes
Wow. Why did you pick that as your favorite?
because it's so fluffy.
The teddy bear.
My favorite was the teddy bear.
What'd you measure it in?
Unifix cube.
So this will be interesting. What'd you get for your answer?
I got 32.
And what'd you guys get?
32.
That means there's some good measuring going on. If you measured the same thing in the same units and you got the same answer, right? That means there's some really good, consistent measuring going on. That's great. Why did you like that one, Tyler?
It was like, it just looks so cute.
Okay. So what I'm really excited to see is you guys use a lot of different things to measure. You use some of the things we have here, and then you went ahead and thought about your own ideas for non-standard. And the last thing I want us to go back to, and you can take your papers and put them on the carpet so your hands are free. You're going to need your hand for something. And it's not the razor. Give me a sec. So it's going to be, I want us to go back to the beginning when we talked about a goal we had, which was to work really, really well with our partner. And to think about a way that both of us would get to share our ideas, and I use the word collaborate. So on your hand, you're going to show me how you think you did with collaborating. So not how did your partner do, how did I do? So if I did really well, if I used some of those words we practiced in the circle before we started, if I made sure my partner was heard and I was heard, I might be a 5. That's the top point. If I felt pretty good about it, that might be a 3 in the middle. And if I think I didn't do much as being a cooperative partner, I'd be a 1. So we're going to do a 1 to 5. Show me on your hands, Claude. 1 to 5. Show me how you think you did. Molly, how do you think you did? I'm curious to see how people think they did. Okay. Molly, how do you think you did as a partner?
Well,
Okay, so do you think it's a 4 or a 5 then?
I think it's a 5.
Show me on your hand. Cool. What made it easy to be a good partner? What were things that helped you, or what do you think you did well that made it easy to enjoy this activity? Nate?
McLean's my owner.
What do you mean by that?
Because I'm a kitty, and she's my owner kitty. So, like, we made it, like, into a game.
Oh, okay, and it worked out. It worked out for both of you. What else made it easy to work well with your partner? What did you notice that went well with working with your partner? Henry?
That I thought it was, I thought we were using the compost bin, and Catherine Marie said it was the recycling bin.
So she helped clarify something? Awesome. How about one more? What was something else that made it a little bit even better? What do you think, Grace?
I don't have any. Because we were both like, what should we measure? So we were like, I'll measure these two, and you'll measure these two, and how we did that was really good because we knew that we each got the things that we wanted to measure,
Cool.
and they were the ones that were really good.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of great work that I saw happening between partnerships.
And I chose my favorite.
One final reflection is anything that you found challenging about this project, either in working with another person or in actually just doing the project. Was there anything you found challenging that you want to reflect on? Put your shoe back on. Max, what did you notice?
I just think me and Molly, she chose some and I chose some, and it was challenging because we thought the book was like in be 10, but it was actually 21 Legos.
So what made that challenging?
Because we're gonna have to build and build and build and build. The thing to do was
Catherine, paper down. Thanks.
when Henry and Catherine were doing something with the Lego box, and we were measuring the Lego box with Unifix cube. I found that very challenging because the 2 people were working on it at a time.
Yeah. One more. Catherine, Molly?
It's kind of challenging working with Henry because he was
Max,
like,
paper down.
sometimes he
Max.
was like telling me things. And also I thought it was challenging, like Catherine said, when Catherine was trying to get Lego, when Catherine was trying to measure the Lego bin, and I was trying to get my Lego.
So that's a similar one. Well, I think the thing is when we work in partners, we don't always have we don't always have somebody we're used to spending time with. So I might be really used to working with Grace, and so she and I get along really well. I could see that the way that McLean and Nate turned it into a game together, that made it fun. But I think it's great to see yourself get challenged when working with other people and still trying to keep those goals. So even though it was challenging, Catherine, Amalia, did you each get to have a little bit of say in what you measured?
Yeah.
Cool. So that part of it was reached, so that's great.